Welcome to This Explainer. I am absolutely thrilled you're tuning in today. If you've ever felt totally overwhelmed by modern fitness culture, or if the mere idea of going to a packed, noisy gym makes you want to hide under the covers, or hey, maybe you're just a complete beginner who wants to improve your heart health without feeling intimidated, you are in exactly the right place. Today, we're going to strip away all that complicated fitness jargon. We're going to look at the actual science of your heart and your body, and we're going to build a completely stress-free, foolproof approach to getting healthy. You don't need any expensive gear, you don't need a fancy gym membership, and you definitely don't need to push yourself until you drop. We're going to take this step by step to show you exactly how simple and accessible true health can really be.
Okay, let's dive right into this. What if the best cardio is something you already know how to do? For decades, we've been sold this idea that to get a healthy heart, you have to literally suffer. We picture people sweating buckets, sprinting on treadmills, gasping for air until they're totally exhausted. Honestly, it creates a tremendous amount of fitness anxiety, especially for beginners. But what if I told you that the single best thing you can do for your cardiovascular health requires absolutely no new skills to learn? It's literally a movement you've been doing since you were a toddler. Yep, we're talking about walking.
To really understand why, we have to compare it to our usual standard. When we think of cardio, we almost always picture running. You want to get fit? Just lace up your shoes and go for a jog, right? Well, the data actually shows that running is a highly technical skill. Now sure, humans evolved to be amazing runners, but let's be real, most of us haven't run consistently since we were 10 years old. When you just go outside and try to run to fatigue without proper biomechanics, you end up running terribly. And because of that, running is actually the #1 form of exercise that causes chronic pain and injury due to repetitive stress. Ouch. But contrast that with walking. Walking is the one movement skill that most people in modern society still possess. It's biomechanically safe. You can go for a long walk right now, and you aren't going to subject your joints to terrible, destructive impact. It's the safest, most effective cardio baseline for almost everyone.
So, just how effective is it? 35%. By simply engaging in regular physical activity, like a daily walk, you can lower your risk of heart and circulatory disease by a massive 35%. That is a life-changing statistic. You don't need to become an elite athlete to get there. You just need to move your body consistently. But how exactly does this simple act of moving protect your body so profoundly?
Let's actually walk through the internal magic of what happens in your body. There's this brilliant 4-step physiological reaction that kicks in the very moment you start moving. Step 1, the heat produced by your muscles increases, and your heart immediately starts to beat faster. Step 2, because your muscles are working harder, they demand more oxygen, so your lungs kick into gear, drawing in deeper, faster breaths. Step 3, your blood acts like a rapid delivery system, picking up that fresh oxygen from your lungs and rushing it straight to the muscles you're using. And step 4, which is absolutely fascinating, if you're active regularly, your body literally builds new roads. Seriously, it grows new capillaries inside the working muscles to make this blood transport even more effective over time.
And right at the center of this incredible biological delivery system is, of course, your heart. We often think of the heart as this fragile mechanical pump, but it's simply a muscle. And just like the muscles in your arms or your legs, when you use it regularly through physical activity, it physically adapts. It gets bigger and it gets stronger. This is exactly why, over time, that neighborhood walk that used to leave you feeling a little bit winded suddenly starts to feel totally effortless. Your heart has literally upgraded its own hardware to handle the demand.
Now, what's really interesting here is the vital trade-off between short-term effort and incredible long-term reward. When you're out on your walk, the short-term effort is that your heart rate goes up and your breathing gets a bit faster. You're putting a temporary, healthy stress on the system. But the long-term reward for that temporary effort, a lower resting heart rate and lower blood pressure when you're just sitting on the couch or sleeping. By making your heart work a little bit harder during the day, you give it the gift of working much, much easier for the remaining 23 hours of your day. And the benefits of this activity spread way past the heart. Here is a massive revelation, especially for your metabolic health. Physical activity helps your cells use glucose effectively even when there's no insulin. This is fantastic news for anyone managing type 2 diabetes or just looking to keep their energy levels stable. When you move, your body becomes incredibly efficient at using the insulin you do have, and it can even pull glucose into your cells without insulin at all. So just by taking a brisk walk, you're actively helping your body regulate its blood sugar levels. Talk about a real game changer.
Let's move on and see how this builds into an entirely different system of your body, your mind. Getting active isn't just a physical workout, it's a brain upgrade. When you move, your brain floods with chemicals called endorphins. These amazing little chemicals physically reduce feelings of pain and flood you with positive feelings. At the exact same time, walking actively cuts down on stress hormones, which rapidly lowers anxiety. Over the long term, regular physical activity actually increases the size of the part of your brain involved in learning, which improves your memory and your attention span. It is basically the ultimate natural stress relief tool.
So, with all these incredible benefits for the heart, the blood, and the brain, what's the actual goal we should be aiming for? The ultimate golden number is 150. That's 150 minutes of moderate intensity activity per week. Now, if you're a complete beginner, I know exactly what you're thinking. 150 minutes sounds like a massive mountain to climb. It sounds like you need to block out huge portions of your life, buy a bunch of athletic gear, and sweat it out in the gym for hours on end. But I want you to completely erase that image from your mind right now.
Breaking the math down brilliantly illustrates why that 150-minute goal is so much easier than it seems. We can take that weekly goal and chop it down into bite-sized, incredibly manageable daily pieces. Picture this: a 10-minute walk in the morning, maybe while you drink your coffee, a 10-minute walk on your lunch break to clear your head, and a 10-minute walk in the evening to digest your dinner. That equals 30 minutes a day. If you do that 5 days a week, boom, you've hit your 150 minutes. You don't need to change your clothes, you don't need to commute to a gym, you just need to find tiny pockets of time to put one foot in front of the other.
So the crucial point is simply this: every 10 minutes counts. You do not need to subject your body to a grueling, hour-long, punishing workout to profoundly change your health, your heart, and your mood. If you only have 10 minutes before your next meeting, that 10 minutes matters. It builds those capillaries, it lowers those stress hormones, it strengthens that heart muscle. The health benefits are completely cumulative. All you have to do is start gathering up those little 10-minute blocks throughout your day.
Which brings us to our final thought, and a question I want to leave you with today. Every 10 minutes counts. So, how will you spend your next 10? You now possess the knowledge that your heart is a muscle waiting to grow stronger, that walking is the safest, most natural way to build it, and that your brain is just waiting for that rush of endorphins. You don't have to run a marathon, you don't have to lift heavy weights if you don't want to. You have everything you need right now to take control of your cardiovascular health. So, as soon as this explainer is over, I really encourage you, step away from the screen, head outside, and just go for a walk. Thank you so much for joining me today, and enjoy your next 10 minutes.